Good morning, friends. Apologies for the delay in bringing you this video this week. Unfortunately, there is a few things going on behind the scenes, personal things that I have to deal with, so apologies again, but let's get on with the project at hand. Now, I left you last week finishing your little boxes, and I'll go over that at the end. Mine is nearly finished. I've just got to put a toggle on it. As I say, time has been really pushed this week. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to introduce an idea that I've had. I'm not sure whether it's been done before, probably has, but basically what I want to do is to be able to have something that is 3D on my page. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose some photographs, and this was of Halloween last year of my grandson and my daughter. That was a really lovely morning, that was. So whether some or all, I'm not sure. And obviously we are at the pumpkin farm, so we've got to have a pumpkin. So what I've done is on the silhouette I have cut a pumpkin on double-sided pattern paper, but it's this one that I'm interested in. Now, I've cut 3 of these and I'm unsure which ones I'm going to use. Now don't worry about the tops because they are not going to match, but that doesn't matter. All I need to do now is I've put a running stitch down the centre of each of these. I did that on the silhouette, but you could do that with the roller. Let's have a look. Have I got one here? Yep. This type of, excuse my state of my fingers, goodness. Painting this morning. Yes, these will do just as well, and that is to get a ruler, thumb it up the side, and it makes it so much easier and so much neater. So we're going to try this with several different seasons or several different projects. So let's try first. So what we want to do is we want to have a different one in the centre to the we want at the end, and we have to decide where on the layout it's going to be placed. So first of all, I'm going to get not the normal glue that I would use, simply because I need time to move it about. Now I have got some what they call, or what do they call it, grit stick, something like that. And I've also got a Nuvo pen, but it's the thicker one of the two, and I'm not sure whether I'm happy with it or not, because it does go over a little bit, but we'll give it a go for this project. Okay, so let's get I will keep this white cardstock, but I'm going to put this piece over the top. So I want this one to join up with this eye here, like so, and this mouth shape there. As I say, don't worry about the stalk, I'm not worried. Then it bends, and then we attach this side here, dead on, like so, and that's when we stick them together. So let's go ahead and just add a bit of glue around the edge. The last thing I need right now is sticky fingers, so I'm going to try my hardest not to. So it's just little dabs, especially on the teeth, because you want them prominent. So you get this side. Don't worry about any differences in size, or it's not laying quite straight, that doesn't matter. There we go. So there's one, that's number one. This one in the middle, as you can see, it doesn't meet, but that's fine. And then we attach this one. It's very fiddly. Trust me to choose something with so many teeth. So, little dots around. Don't go on the other side of the dotted line. Can't believe we're actually nearly October already. Okay, so then we line it up again, same as we did the other side. That's it, just move it in around the sides. And then that is to leave to dry. All this is sorted out later on. So that at this stage, all we want is to be able to lay this down flat. That's it. It's so sticky. So once you've done that, you just need to let it dry enough for you to be able to handle it. Now we will move on to the next bit. And there's another example of a shape. This time we're going to go for a star. And you can do it with all the same colours, or a mix of, on the pumpkin I've used 2 different patterns. This one I'm going to use 3. So this one will be in my centre star. Those 2 be in the outside. So just make sure you get that firm crease down the centre where you will need to use your seam folder. Okay, so exactly the same as the pumpkin. You set your star up on the page like so. Stick just around the edge to bring it together. Don't attach it to the page as yet, so we might as well do that. Okay. Any pieces like this that aren't quite the way it should be, that's easy enough sorted, but wait until it's actually just about to be put down, because they do move. So then this one we're going to put on the other side of the paler. So we're going to go round there. Let's just hold those together for a few seconds. Use a paper clip or several just to hold them in place whilst they dry. Otherwise you're going to have to wait a second time. So let's just pop these on. So those 2 flaps are the ones that go down the top. And there we go. So we're just going to keep those together whilst they dry out. Now all these bits here have obviously got to be decorated as well. So then we have another option. Let's look at Christmas again. And this time I've cut out some little trees. Did the same thing with the fold down the centre, double creased it, and then joined them all together. And then you end up with a little 3D tree, which will attach And literally I've just thrown some decor at this just to show you how it would look. Just adds a really nice element to the page. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So I'm going to try and get as many 3D shapes integrated into layouts that I can. Now bearing in mind, you don't only have to have these in layouts. They can be on your boxes that we're going to make. They can actually be on anything. So here I have another page that I'm planning to do today, and this is using a cut file. Now I'm using all scraps as I said I would at the beginning, and I don't quite know where I'm going with this yet, but I wanted a 3D ball. That was my aim. So I have the 3 here which are joining. Excuse these little bows. So we're going to join these and then go from there. Again, same principle, don't worry too much about the top because that will be all neat very shortly. So I have 2 of the dots, and then I have 2 separate ones. So for this we are going to start from the beginning. I'm going to move those over because we don't need them just yet. I'm going to use the same sheet I was using earlier so as not to waste. So these 2 bits I want on the outside, and these 2 bits I want in the middle. So it's going to be bigger. It's going to have more spikes, if you like. So once again, on the outside, take a little bit up to the top, stick that on. Try and get that line straight as you can. And we'll just pop one of those on, just hold it nice and tight. Okay, so that being how you're going to see it from the outside. Now I'm going to put on this particular one, these at the top because they do actually mark. So again, we're going to roll this over, and you will notice that it's not square. So I'm going to follow this one. Just the back of the ruler, that's fine. And then once again, bear in mind I want that one last, so that one's got to go there. I'm going to attach this one here. Pop the feather one on, flatten it down to the bottom because you can easily cut this bit off. It's more important about getting that flat surface at the bottom. And then pop this glue. I'm not happy with it, it's so sticky. Right, no, glue is meant to be sticky, I know, but It makes your paper dirty and I don't like that. Okay, so final one then. Every time you fold, repress it. Get the seam first. Try not to touch that glue. Okay. And this is how the bubble's going to look when open. I love it. You can do as many or as few as you like. How many sections you want is up to you. But obviously the more sections you have in, the rounder it seems. So I would say that this one's my favourite so far. So we're going to go for a bauble effect on a Christmas. So let's see what we have. I've been meaning to use this collection for some time. Never got round to it, so let's see if we can use some of it today. Love. Oh, some of these are really lovely. So I'll just spread them out. And see which ones we could use. On this particular layout, I am staying away from red, which is unusual for Christmas. But a couple of years ago, I started using pink on a layout instead of red. My tree at home is also pink. Well, the tree isn't, but the decorations are. And also this gorgeous blue. And if you notice on here, we have the same-ish colour. So all I'm going to do at this time is take everything that's got blue or green and that's relevant. See, those red ones I could use on a layout that I've got planned for later. That's it. So, anything with red's gone back. Got some little bows I've acquired over there as well. Bits and pieces of last year's and probably the year before's Christmas. Okay. Now, if you want to, you don't actually have to have this attached to the layout itself. You could put onto a disc so that it could be removed at a later stage, which I will be doing shortly. In the meantime, all these little pieces I'm going to pop into something so that I can use for ephemera. Got quite a few bits, I think. I'm going to use some stenciling as well, I think, on this page. But just to show you that you can do this with any theme. Doesn't have to be the shapes that I've done. Now the star has got 2, and I could easily pop another one in, but for the star I think once that's decorated with all the bling that I want to decorate it with, and cut it, I think we'll be fine. So everything else other than the bauble layout I am getting rid of for the present time. There. I've got several photographs of Christmases and Halloweens, so I'm hoping to use one of those, but the Christmas one is fabulous. So we're going with Noel. Let's get this done. And what I did with the cut file is I went around the outside of it to make the actual cut file thicker, because it was so fiddly, and because I wanted to show you clearly what I was doing, I chose to change this to a slightly bigger or thicker cut file. Right, okay, so I haven't got much Christmas paper, but the ones I have, would be nice if I could find some pink, but I cannot find any, which is a real shame. But I might see if I can find something that will go better with this. So bear with me, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I found this crepe paper, Maggie Holmes Gather, and this particular side I think will go beautifully with this red. Well, it's a brownie colour actually. And then I have obviously the cutouts that I've got from these bits, which came from a book that I bought from, I think it was The Works actually, and I'm really pleased with that. It's come out lovely, and I've also got some dots that I'm going to use, and any pages within here that seem fit, that's the ones that I was keeping an eye out for. So let's see what we can muster up. I'm going to remove paper. So the first one I'm going to do, I think the E. When you're doing a word or letters, you always have to think about if you're going to be going over or under the letter here. So I would say that would be better going under. I think it'll probably be better if we quickly fast forward through this bit. I'm sure you don't want to watch me back this entire cut file at this speed. It is fiddly, yes, I know. However, it's worth it in the end. I think this is one of Paige Evans' cut files. And as I explained, I have altered it slightly by making the actual cut file itself a lot wider. And take it round. Now here you could have, you could take the bottom from here and cut off here, but I do think that looks nice as it is, so we'll leave that for the present. Then let's just go round and chop off any bits and pieces we don't need. Then we've got the L, the O, and the V. Obviously the O is going to be the bauble. I've actually been working on this for a while, this 3D element, and I was going to bring it in the first episode. However, we've had such a lot going on here, and I'm so sorry because my life seems to have taken a rather complicated turn, and obviously this has to be dealt with, and unfortunately I have to take myself away from scrapbooking where necessary. So this is the tricky bit. This is where you decide, are you going to cut into the N? And I think I may do that. So I'm going to cut up. It's not quite stuck anyway, which is the best way to do it. And just cut up. That's it. And then round. Yeah. So there's the E. Not a whole sheet, but I think we'll put the N. Then the red. Yes. So once let's pop a little bit of pencil. So I'm just going round markings so that I can stick it straight down. So quick see, there was a little hole there, so I've just shown that. And then we go around the outside of the M. Try not to get any on the white, because no matter how hard you try, your fingers get dirty and then it transfers onto the card. It just looks horrible. So again, just trimming around the edges. I hope you can see this because you're above me, so I can't see if you can. I hope so. And there's a tiny bit here. And then go around and just gather any spots of blue. Okay, so that's the second piece in. Now there is a bit of pencil there. I will rub that out afterwards. So then finally we have the red or brown. So I'm going to use scraps here if possible. Yes. Okay, so we just mark it inside and outside. It's amazing what you can do with scraps. I never used to touch my scraps really, and they just got so huge that I put myself on a stash busting mission, and it worked. It actually worked. I've now got one box of scraps, all filed by colour, and all these parts, all these colours mix-ups came from that box. So just going to add a bit more glue to put the L on. I love doing cut files, especially Word ones. Don't know, I think it was Paige that got me into them. She does some lovely ones. Okay, so place it needing the least amount of cutting as possible. Yeah. And now that needs to dry. So the idea was initially to put a base plate behind, and then maybe to use that space as my photograph, because I've got such a lovely photograph. And that would look amazing. But then that one, so the other option was to have a base plate there. And then pop this on like so. I'm going to tuck that under, give it a little bit more authenticity. Now I think this may look better without the back plate, but I'm not going to. So now I'm going to a bit of stenciling, I think. Now obviously we have Halloween before we have Christmas, and it's just a coincidence that I have actually pulled out two autumn stencils, which is not what I want. I want Christmas. So what I might do is I might go down the dotty route. Oh yes, let's go down the dotty route. Oh, excuse me. Let's have a look. Perfect. Okay, so thinking of my base colours here, I would say we've got like a baby peachy pink and this definite turquoise. So let's see if we can find any such colours. I have a pink, which is those two. Okay, so just grab myself a board. Don't know, I may very well use some stamps, so let's get a stamp plate out just in case. So some of the papers that I've been using have come from Echo Park Perfect Winter, which was by Laurie Whitlock. Used it a lot last year. In fact, I think I bought 2 pads. Okay, so my idea is to exacerbate on the circle thing. Now, we keep that there for a second. I'm wondering whether to go on to a different colour card, like a pink, or a turquoise, or even a green actually. That's blue. This is a peachy colour. Stands out much better using that. I have lots of different greens, but it's more of a dark. I'm really not sure whether this is going to work. I'll give it a go. I have a grey, like a dark blue, many different reds. And we have this pink. Completely wrong pink. How strange. Right, so I think that's as close as I can get, apart from one other option, which is a very, very dark teal. You call it teal? I think so. Not that I can find it right now. Isn't that typical? And then we have like a salmon pink. No. No, 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 no. So even though I haven't decided which colour I'm going to have as my base, I'm still going to continue. What I want is for this to stand out more. Now it's going to be raised off the page. Excuse all the shadows, guys. It's a horrible, miserable day, pouring with rain, and there's not much light in here at all. So I'm going to use spun sugar. It would be helpful if I had Okay, so I'm going to load this with brown sugar. And I'll try very hard not to get any dirt. I want it to show